Well, I want to launch into that a little bit. And the other key thing that is really changing is it's the consumption of music, right? And how people are digesting music, but also, I mean, in one word, it's the web, right? But how like social networks, tech, you know, like whether it's on mobile, put it down, Wayne. And analytics. I mean, it's crazy the things that are coming up that you can find out. We could match our band's website and their demos, right? Male, female, college, not college, with other websites as we're doing what we're going to do for banner ad, like we're going to advertise. It's crazy. Like, there's
a company called Topspin that does that really well as well. Yeah, they help you distribute stuff. They're amazing.
Topspin is like this. Topspin was unfathomable 4 or 5 years ago, but again, a door was opened, and Topspin is this company that literally they can tell you how fans purchased your music, what process they went through, essentially. What did they click through?
And there are 3 or 4 more like that. There's EchoSpin, there's Nimbit, and I just went through a 2-day Topspin training class. So to boil it down, is it maximizes the direct to fan connection. It's a set of software tools. It's a commerce platform. It's an email generation tool, and they also apply those principles with basic, marketing. And the whole point is that it's empowering the band to reach directly to their fans, to build up so there's more fans, so you can ultimately sell them more things.
And also, it helps you not waste your time. If you're a band that's already toured, maybe you think you go into Kansas City and you're going to sell a lot of tickets, well, you can actually see how many people are buying stuff in Kansas City from you or logging onto your website from those areas. And then maybe you don't go there this time until you build something more.
Well, I think let's open this up to a bigger discussion about your website. This is where I think when somebody's going to help you out, like your website, your social networks like Facebook and MySpace and Twitter, connecting everything, because essentially like what you're trying to do, and Wayne pointed out, it's just connect, right? You're trying to connect with as many people as you can. So do we want to touch on like developing, like how a manager can help with those aspects of developing your website, of getting in social networks, like a broader understanding of it? Start with Larry.
I think most bands, since MySpace really started, and MySpace was built on bands, and then they've tried to do other things, and that's all failed, and it's come really back to the core of bands have their site on there, and that's where people go to communicate with their bands and friends of that band. So I think the MySpace page is most of bands have that covered. It's all the new ones that are popping up and how to tie them all in with your tweet deck and your this and your that. So you are being effective pushing your message to as many people as possible. And it's like anything else, repetition, like just getting in someone's face, 7 times before somebody remembers your name. If you're pushing it, somebody's like, I've heard that band before.
Within reason, though. We don't need to know you got a soy latte.
But hold on. But I think that's a bigger point. Like, should your manager, how deep should they go with what you're doing on your webpage?
Well, I think, information about your band exists in so many places you can't even imagine. If you're fortunate enough to get distribution and your music winds up on Amazon, well, you know what? You've got a band listing, you've got an editorial site, you can add more images. There's multiple places your band's image and music and information live, whether it's All Music Guide or Metacritic or Amazon or Twitter or Facebook or MySpace or Vimeo or YouTube or any number of these sites. And the more there is, the more distribution, which is now practically free, the more people have the chance of bumping into your artist and your music. And right now, that's something anybody can do. You don't even have to be, you can be a fanager, you can be a manager, you can be just a friend. And you can help say, hey, I saw your band listed on this calendar and they didn't have the link right or they didn't have the photo right. I mean, all these things. If you're doing gigs, that means all of a sudden your name is going into a database or it's being listed in a News Weekly website or a club website. And that's the key role, I think, now for any young manager or looking for managers, that they know how to help get all your information out on any kind of website, including the core ones.
Kristen, what are you seeing on your side in terms of what you're able to provide on websites and what bands are looking for? I mean, as your experience as a manager, now as your experience with what you're doing now.
I just, I worked with Blink for many, many years, and their activity online, it was something I've never seen. I mean, it's just out of this world, and I think that is, people want to find out what they're doing. They go back. It's like there's so many huge artists out there that, have these people that go to their site and then they never come back. They're not loyal fans. And I think that if you can grow that loyalty, it will pay off in spades. And I've worked with huge artists. I worked with Ruben Studdard before, who was the first American Idol winner. He didn't blog for like over a year on his MySpace when I first started. There was zero activity, nothing. As soon as we start filtering some information in there and put some new content up and some new music, it started growing exponentially. So that's just one point, is just don't ever ignore it, and I would look for, we do a lot with iLike, because they feed out to Facebook and Bebo and Hi-Fi, and they're also putting an application now where you can sell music through there, and I just found that out today. So look for sites that can hit a lot of places at once, so you're not managing like 10 different pages. That's something else that I try to do. So that's,
it's so easy to go to a website too, and it's so quick, and everyone does it. So it's like you got to make it informative. You can't just leave a lame page up there that doesn't really give
your manager
information.
be like, if you put up something, the band puts up something, do you think it's within reason that your manager or whoever? I mean, that's part of the problem with the manager. It's just like, hey, everything you do is awesome. You're the best. You are so cool.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm so happy to be here.
Dude, I get the backstage pass, I get a free drink.
Right. Oh, can my friends come? And but shouldn't that, that's one of the things I think more so now than ever is, considering all these changes that are going on. Don't you need that constructive feedback, criticism? If if as a band you do something kind of retarded and you're, and you're like,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was just making the point that you got to at least keep information flowing up there, because, like the point was just made about Ruben, is like, it's so easy to put something up there, and people are going to check on those artists because they know about him, and so they're like, what's going on? And if it's outdated and nothing's happened, then they just move on to the next artist.
Move on.
Yeah. Sorry.
We got questions.
We gotta jump in.
Yeah, we're going to jump. Well, I think one last thing too on that is that the person that's your manager should never let somebody move on, right? They should keep things moving forward. Like another philosophy that my boss has is, and I was overwhelmed one day, right? I'm like, I'm falling so far behind. He goes, Robbie, is the ship moving forward? And I'm like, yes. He goes, then we're okay. And I'm like, wow, just keep the ship moving forward. It's so hard to do that sometimes, but what you don't let is like things to pass you by, right? And if the person that's working with you is not getting to things, or is not giving you constructive criticism and letting things fall by the wayside, that person, whoever they are, should not be representing you, right? That's their job. So.
And they should also, say, by the grace of God, you get this great placement on MTV. But your manager didn't make sure there's a buy link up on your MySpace page, so that when 50,000 people go to your MySpace that night, they don't know where to purchase the music, Those are the kind of things that, seizing the opportunity,
everything is connected.
You
right?
cannot let any opportunity pass. So that's something else, as young managers, you got to be on top of that stuff.
And that seriously, it's scary. Everything is connected.
Yeah.
Everything. One thing you do here, and we talked about in music supervision, which is this growing aspect of the business, but everything is connected. That person might have worked at a radio station, whatever. Then they have a blog they might do. It's just weird.
It's a web of.
Yeah,
Anybody who's interviewed, if somebody writes about a panel, I can find entries about Steve Nice from a radio conference panel from 7 years ago. This stuff exists out there on the internet forever.
But again, that person should understand that because everything's connected, you can't let opportunities go by. Any opportunity. Everything's an opportunity. So anyway, we'll open up to questions because I think we're about to run out of time.